presenters, and Dave and Stacy are co-presidents. This is the best way to think about our co-presidents, okay? Did anybody do the extended hand fun run this morning? That was awesome. Thank you guys for coming out. Dave, that race got done. He was sweat head to toe. He had been training for weeks. He wanted to kill it. Dave's in charge of growth, among other things. That's Dave, right? Stacy, she showed up pristine. She's like, I'm going to walk. I'm not going to sweat. I'm going to be in the back and make sure everything works right. She's in charge of brokerage operations. Totally matches what they do. But they have some super exciting things to tell you about. I am so privileged to work with these guys every day. They ooze our core values as well as they're doing things every day to help all of you that are agents with us be super successful. And if you're somebody, maybe you're thinking of being an agent, you're an investor, or you're a guest, you're like, how do I get to hang out with those guys more? These are the people that are helping to drive our company to success. Dave Kennard and Stacy Allen.
Talking to them about eXp, I think the most important thing for them to know is that there's a lot of opportunity based on where they want to go in their career, right? It could be becoming a better agent, it could be learning leadership skills, it could be leading a team. So it's important for them to know that the future is really what they want it to be at eXp.
Wow, if I were to meet somebody for the first time and they really didn't know a thing about the company, I would talk about the company culture that we have here. For a cloud-based company, it's something like I never knew could be even possible.
So, productive agents is probably our main goal, because this model for productive agents allows you to take a business and just run with it. For instance, I had my brokerage, which we switched over, so I ran now like a very, very large team. Other people might come over and just be more independent. So it really allows you to run the business the way you want to run your business. And obviously we find that more productive agents are more business oriented, they're generally going to be doing that better.
I joined eXp Realty because I wanted to affiliate with the best of the best in the industry. Had I not found the best of the best to affiliate with, I would not have joined the company. And so I believe as we continue to grow and expand, the bigger the bench strength, the more talent we have, the better we will all grow as a company, and the better that the newest agents who's coming on have role models, have teachers, have mentors, have trainers to follow and succeed.
The advice I'd give anyone that's looking at eXp to join is that they definitely want to do it. When I was looking at it like 3 years ago, I was looking at joining eXp, and they have two things to offer besides our cloud and education and saving money. They have a retirement plan. I mean, we get stock and we get revenue share if you choose to participate.
The real estate agents in eXp are entrepreneurs. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the word entrepreneur, but they really are. I mean, they're running their own businesses. They're utilizing our support and our platform to earn money, to earn their living. So I think we got a very nice group of entrepreneurs that are driving their lives in partnership and with ownership of eXp.
All right. That is awesome way to talk. That's really what it's all about, right? These videos with our agents telling their story is really cool, and it's really fun, even though these lights are really bright. See a lot of friends out here. We've got about 1,600 to 1,800 of our best friends hanging out with us. So we have to selfie with you, right?
You said we did not have enough pictures yet.
Yes. All right. Let's see if we can.
All right. So we're gonna selfie.
You ready? Let's go this way. Hey. All right. Hold on. We'll get you guys first. Hey. All right. Everybody, hands up. Nice. All right. Your turn.
We had to selfie both sides.
Smile count. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Middle. We missed the middle. All right. Come on. Middle. All right. 1 more.
Equal opportunity.
Go. Yes.
All right. Thank you guys. I like watching that video because the last Shareholder Summit, I had been here, I think, 33 days. And in the last year, getting to meet all the people in that video, plus tons of them out here, is when you really realize that's what it was about. That's family. That's who we are, and these events are very different because of that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All about that.
I wasn't even here at the last shareholders meeting.
You were not. He was not.
I snuck in, literally snuck in. Where's Gene? Snuck me in the back door at eXp so that I could see the stage.
And the other thing I just have to say is that last slide had the word growing up on it, and we think that was Mitch's cruel joke to the fact that we're the two shortest people in leadership. And we decided we are grown up, regardless of what Mitch thinks.
We're growing older, not up.
So a couple things that we had talked about as shareholders, and we have succeeded on a lot of those promises, is we've really been looking over the last year at how do we help get you guys the support that you need? How do we maneuver a cloud-based brokerage and give you that local same feel that you're used to when you walk in your brick and mortar? And so one of the things too, in trying to leverage everybody and make sure that there's enough time for each agent that needs help, we've instituted a lot of different layers in this. And it's one of the things that Glenn has talked about is bringing leadership to the edges of the organization and making sure that everybody has an opportunity to give. And so one of the great things is I did want to make sure we talk a little bit about our 3 regional managers for the brokerage side. And so these are the 3 people that if you're struggling at all in a region or you just need some advice and guidance that possibly goes over your broker's head that they can't help you with, we have like the amazing people. We have Jim Newth in the West. We have Mr. Ronald Dunnigan in the Central and Matt in the East. Right? They're great people. If you have not had them reach out to them. Ask them anything you need. Seek their guidance. Jim is like a historian. I think he's been here forever at this point. So he's a great guy. If you want to go to our next one, I want to talk about our next amazing layer. In talking about that, bringing that power to the edges, and bringing that guidance, Dave and I have been really working hard to bring all the teams together and have it be one large field. And so in doing that, we know that there's a lot of you, right? We're really growing at an amazing rate. We started, when I came last March, we were 7,000. We're at like 19.5 now. That's phenomenal. And so that also leaves Jim, Ron, and Matt a little bit stretched at times. And again, the last thing I want is you guys to have an unanswered chat. I don't want you to have an unanswered phone call. So in doing that, we wanted to make sure that we brought some brokers up and made them peer leads. And so they're broker team leads. So those people on the screen, Belinda, Jeffrey, Michael, Parker, Frank, Damian, Jennifer, Cheryl, and Stephanie, they're here for you just the same as Jim and Ron.
And that's an awesome group. This is a really, really talented leadership team. If you guys have interacted with them, you know how amazing they are and how responsive they are.
They absolutely are. And so again, in moving towards this whole piece of the state leadership, Dave has been handling the growth side, which, by the way, I wasn't last in the race this morning. I did not completely cross last, but I was at the end. But in doing that, we really have been trying to figure out how to marry this and how to work together and give everybody the most leverage. And also, again, coming back to that state field.
Right.
One of the big things we want to do. And so Dave has been working with onboarding and team services and growth, and so he's got some amazing leaders in there that I'll go ahead and let you know about, Jeff.
Yeah, so as we blend together what we do, we blend together the growth and operations, we've also been able to blend together this leadership team. And so many of you also know Sam Rodriguez. And newest to our team, Chris Baird. So they're pretty public facing. So a lot of you that are out there helping us grow the company have had the opportunity to work with them and know how much they do on a regional level. If you get into the opportunity to actually be bringing people on board, you have probably run into some other great leaders. Christy Pitchford, Megan Hampton, and Erica Tevye. So if you've worked with them, they have been with us for a long time. Yeah, please give them a round. So they have been serving. We have kind of thrown them into this whole new regional structure, and they have just flourished and done an amazing job. And we've had the help of Travis Kidd, Candace Warren, and Josh Ruland, who are also just awesome. They're leading the whole team of our onboarding and our team services. We've blended them together now, and they're working with brokerage ops as one organization where now it's no more of the right hand and the left hand not always knowing what we're doing, but a really team feel where they're structured and it's seamless. We'll share with you some of the results of what's happening as we've started to blend these two together.
So I think we're going to get to my favorite part next, which is our state-based teams. So I get really excited when I talk about this, and I can't help it. But I look back at, think of when you onboarded in a brick and mortar, and you walked in the door, and everybody was there, and you really did get that feel. Well, we want to make sure we have that, and also, as Glenn says, we are transparent, and we do listen. And we heard the comments that some of you felt like you were being passed from department to department to department, and that's not a good feeling, and that's the last thing in the world we want. And so when Glenn came to us and said, I want state teams. I want them local. I want this whole group to work together. At first, the look on my avatar's face was, how? I got to get there. Okay, we can do this.
Right.
And then Dave and I have spent a lot of hours talking about this, fleshing that out, and we're so excited to think that now when you guys go to your state broker rooms in the world, you're going to have your onboarders, you're going to have your payment processors, you're going to have your support staff, you're going to have your broker team. They're all going to be there together in one large group. And so it is absolutely, and just know, kind of like my face was when Glenn told me, it takes a little time. We're going to roll it out in stages, because the coolest part of it is it doesn't, it's funny, it doesn't just benefit the agents. It benefits the staff. When I think of our staff that has been trained for onboarding,
right, or
trained to do payment processing, or our brokers who came to us with all of their broker skills, they kind of stayed in their own department. So what we're going to do next is they're all going to roll up their sleeves, and they're going to learn each other's jobs. And they're going to spend the time. They're all going to learn how to process those payments. Because when do most of your escrows close? End of the month, right? So we always have a big overflow. So your state teams have agreed to just come in and be complete team players. They're going to roll up their sleeves, and if you had 50 extra closings come in today, they're going to roll up their sleeves and they're going to help get those files settled. Because we know as agents, there's one thing we don't do as brokers. We don't mess with your money, right? We want you paid.
Can I get an amen?
So it's going to be a little bit of work. We've got 7 states launching for their cross-training next week. We are so excited about it.
Yeah, it's a really exciting thing. And really, in essence, what happens is you have triple the number of people serving you as agents to take care of you without having to go out and hire 3 times as many people.
Absolutely. And the staff, when we talk to them, we pulled in a group of them. There are 7 state teams that are launching, and you're not quite always sure. Change is hard for anybody and everybody. I mean, think of any time you guys are trying to excite your brokerages. Change is done. I can't tell you how excited I was. The room was so ready for it. So we are trying to honor those promises. We do want you to know we've heard you. We are absolutely getting everybody trained. Everybody's going to be ready to do this as a big team.
Awesome.
So really looking forward to it.
It's going to be good. It's going to be awesome. Good. So I'm very excited. So speaking of onboarding, we know that onboarding, so I think since I was one of the last on the leadership team to arrive, the last one in gets onboarding. You do onboarding. So, it's been a challenge. It's been something where the growth that we've seen is incredible. And I like to remind our onboarding team a lot of times because they're running around a million miles an hour with their hair on fire, and sometimes they're hearing from people that haven't been totally thrilled with the process, and they're scared, and they're moving their licenses over, you're moving your business. It's a big deal. And I remind them the incredible number that they have helped move to eXp in a short period of time, and that no other company is seeing that kind of growth. And we've been able to get that done. At times, we've just been keeping our head above water. And so we've been able to implement some new processes. I'm going to take you through just a couple of these steps. So we've been talking about NPS, our Net Promoter Score. We measure the people who think we're doing a great job from the people who think that we could have done better. And when we started measuring NPS at the beginning of the year, you can see on the screen, our score was what? 1. What did Glenn say our target was for our NPS, remember? It's like 80. So we had a little bit of room to grow.
And nowhere to go with that.
Yeah, see if this sounds familiar. Top issues, confusing process. Takes too long. Too many emails. Anyone go through that when they onboarded with us at one point? Yeah, a little bit. Okay, so we've been tracking what was going right and what was going wrong. We added some more staff so that we could keep up, and our NPS went up 600%. mic drop. We were out. We decided to do a few other things. We added the tracker. Have you guys seen the onboarding tracker?
Good stuff.
Now, right? Now the agents know where they are. Sponsors know where their agents are in the process so they can help guide them through. They know what to expect. Okay? Originally, beginning of the year, we were at an average of 21 days to get people on board. Now, that includes some people who weren't ready to onboard, et cetera, so there's a mix and there's a blend in there, but it also were a lot of people that were taking longer than they should have. When we added some of these other changes, we added more people, we changed some of our processes, our onboarding dropped to 14 days. All right, NPS was at 20, we were in double digits, right? We were at 20. Now we have the new join application. We've added the ICA into that process. When people sit down to join, they fill out the application, they fill out the ICA, they give their information, and then we take care of the rest and get them on board. Okay, we've reduced emails. That has been a good process. A good process. And our NPS was up to 26. Okay, going through that process, we were able to calculate it. We dropped to 6 days as an average. This all happened this year, right? Very first quarter. And finally, our NPS shot up to 48. 48, right? And if you look at the text in yellow, you'll see that I want to give a shout out to our East Coast onboarding team.
Awesome stuff.
We had an agent who came to us in the evening, it was about 5:30 in the evening, wanted to move over and had a contract that they needed to write. Their sponsor called and said, what can we do? So we got all hands on deck. It was after hours for the East Coast folks. And this person was still, they sent in their application, their ICA. They were done in 27 minutes. Oh. A contract and go do business, get business done. So that's a new record. We've broken the 4-minute mile. We're ready to go.
And you've only been here since January. Between you and your team, you guys have done that. That's really awesome.
The team is amazing. Amazing.
Excitement. New York City.
Yeah.
You know, and I am not going to hit everybody, but I have to tell you that when we first decided we were going to tackle this, there were some agents that are with us that the support, the information, the knowledge, you know, you look at Dr. David Reese, Randy Reese, Dave Gagnon, Tom Trom. I literally could probably name 15 people that took time and energy out of their schedule to educate me and you on everything that we didn't know. Because we were really honest. We don't know what we don't know.
Right.
And we need help. And we cannot thank you guys enough. There is no way we would be open for business in New York City without probably about 100 different agents.
Yeah. Matt, Chris, Randy.
Oh my gosh,
right?
yeah, our staff killed it. They actually did, they were kind of our experimental self-organized team. And they knocked it out of the park, guys. So we are so excited to tell you we are there, we're open, we're good to go.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Good stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's a tough place to break into. Once we're
Thank
there,
you guys
ready
for
to
all
go.
your help.
So this is kind of, we have growth, right? Just a little bit on growth. So we pulled some numbers. We were curious. We feel like we're doing pretty well. So we looked at some of our competition. Now we've chosen not to put the names of our competitors on the board. These are major national brands, the people that we compete with. So I put them up on the screen. But, you know, we're not about highlighting where others are maybe not doing what they want to do. We're focused on what we have going on. And take a look at this, okay? We've got 3 major national brands out there who, their increase of agents, 1.7%, 4.4%, and 3.6%. The coolest thing about our company and how we grow, the most exciting thing to us about the way the company grows is that we grow organically. We don't have managers out there stationed across the country paid to hire and paid to recruit. We grow through the enthusiasm, and if we do a great job helping you and taking care of you, you're going to be enthusiastic, and you're out there telling the story and you're bringing people in. 139% growth is a phenomenal story. Really amazing.
Well done.
Well done.
Well
That's you. That's you.
Good
2 by
stuff.
20. So, if you have a 2 by 20 button pinned to your lanyard, could you stand up?
Wow.
That is amazing. That is amazing. You have no idea why you have that, do you? We're not going to tell you. So 2 by 20, you can sit down. Thank you, guys. So 2 by 20 is an initiative that we have to continue to grow the company. And that means that we would love to see every agent in the company,
Everyone?
invite and bring in 2 agents
Just 2.
before 2020. End of the year, just 2. Think about it. We started the year close to 16,000 agents. If all 16,000 just brought in 2, where would we be?
Just 2 of your cross agents. That's all it takes.
It's a big number,
2
right?
agents you did a deal with.
So we have this initiative that we are launching here. Those of you that have the buttons on your lanyards, that means you've already brought in your 2 as the shareholders.
Well done.
All of you with those 2 by 20s, you've already done it. You've already done it. Don't stop. Don't stop. It's not a limit. There's no limit on that. 2 by 20. So we're going to be providing some tools to help all of our agents bring their 2 on.
Absolutely.
So we'll have weekly live stream. Okay, we're doing the intro to eXp, right? eXp Explains. We'll have new marketing material for you, new customizable attraction flyers, new slides, and we'll be doing some recognition and awards for those that are achieving these results. So a lot of great tools for you to help you go out and attract, go get them done. So take a look at this real quick. This is the list of names.
This is like high school graduation.
I know, right?
Every single one.
Yes, we're going to read through those, come up to the stage. No, I'm just kidding. These are the people who have already brought on 2 this year. Look how many people have already brought 2 in the first quarter of the year. Amazing.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, hold on. Check this out. There are a bunch of people who have already brought 10 people in. This is the first line. People that you have influenced through your relationships to come to the company already. So we're looking for everyone to do 2, but we have some people that are kind of overachievers. Look at this list. The folks on this list already have brought on 10 agents in their first line since the beginning of this year of shareholders. So this is like Simba. Okay? All of you that have achieved your 10 already as a shareholders, you are going to have this award with your name engraved drop shipped to your home within the next 2 weeks. So well done. That is exciting, and we clearly can't do it without you. This is what you guys make happen for the company. And some of the comments on here were about how when we bring more talent into the company, we all get better. We all get stronger.
Absolutely. Commercial. We heard you. Definitely heard you. I love the phone call I received. I think it was probably late December. I might get the timeline wrong. Jeff Whiteside called me. Said, Stace, what do you think about commercial? And of course, never knowing how he feels about it on the other end. I'm like, I'm in. Like, let's do this. And I loved it because he was so excited. He said, good. Jason said to call you. He said you'd be in. So since then, we have been listening. We've been talking to focus groups. We're going to get people together, and it is an initiative. We will work to get you the commercial division done this year. We are on it. We promise.
Send this to a commercial talent.
Absolutely. It's going to be great.
Oh, this is
Cool stuff.
Yes. Go ahead.
There's a lady, hopefully she's in the room. Her name is Micah. I'm going to butcher the last name, even though I love her and Madi dearly. Micah Ruwa. I'm not good.
Yes! I've been practicing.
She has really just gone for it. She wants to give back so bad, she wanted to create eXp. So we got the call from her and Glenn not too long ago. We had the conversation, and I'm embarrassed to tell you, we're both poor planners. She made us a t-shirt to show you. Do you like it? Very pretty. It's unfortunately in my room, and I didn't have time to get it. But she made some t-shirts. We're going to be selling some great products. We're going to be giving back every year, right around eXp's birthday.
Yeah, so there's two parts to this, right?
That's true, there are two parts.
You can buy a t-shirt. You see the logo up there, right? The eXp. You see the logo that have shirts that are eXp. With each purchase, you're contributing money to that fund that helps our EX folks that are in need, right? So contributing back to our family. That's why I just do this. And then, do you know when eXp's birthday is? Nice.
Well done.
Nice. October 6th. So right around eXp's birthday every year, we're going to do an eXp Community Day, where we always go back and give back to our communities. The ones that are next to the family.
Very excited.
Awesome.
So this guy, Gene. This guy, right?
He's like Madonna. He has one name.
This guy, Gene. So what I love about Gene is, I didn't know Gene. I didn't know most anybody. But talk about the way Gene and Susan just embrace, want to get to know you, want to know how to support you. They're just an example of all of the rest of you that come at it the same way. And so Gene holds a lot of great hats. He's been an agent, he's on brokerages, he's on our board, he's a major influencer, so he's going to come out and have a couple words with us.
Nice. You may know him as Eugenia. He's very shy, so hopefully he'll be good at talking
Be
with it.
good with them.
Very shy.
You married a legend.
I did marry a legend.
Gene, what agent number are you?
4 years ago, this is a blessing. 4 years ago, I met two people in the company. Jason Guessing, who saw Jason International, and some guy named Glenn. And I literally joined this company meeting two people. And I want to report back to you 4 years. 4 years ago at this meeting, there were 37 people in the room. Okay? And those two gentlemen are exactly the same people I met 4 years ago.
So you get that really great advantage. You get to see it from the agent side, you get to see it from the influencer, and then you get to see it from the board side. And so when we're out here talking, and Dave's talking about everything that he's been able to accomplish with growth, and when we're talking about the things Dave and I are looking forward to do with the state teams, what are you thinking about as a board member?
Well, I just think as a board member, every time it just gets better and better. I want you all to know that I'm an agent just like Susie Aldrich. We're on the board together as agents. That we get to bring your voice to the board. Okay? So anytime you guys want us to talk about anything, to think we've grown, like you said, by 7,000 agents this year so far as growth.
Right.
And we're accomplishing, and now we're onboarding people in 27 minutes. And just so you know, when you showed the chart of the competitors, 1.7% is not that bad. Growth. It's not that bad, really. Here's the thing, guys. From a board member's perspective, these two people here as our core president, you ought to feel really, really good.
So what do you think is going to make the most impact for us for the rest of the year?
Well, I think what's happening, as you guys see, there's two things that I think we bring to the table, what the real estate companies brought to the table the last 4 years. Number one, we're making real estate fun again. Right? That's one of our core values. I love that it's a core value. And number two, we're going to change agents' lives like no other company ever. And if you all care about your fellow agents, 2 by 20 ought to be done next week. Right? I mean, really, You know, if we're going to change the world and basically change the industry, I don't quite understand why. Everybody says, well, I don't know if I should. You know how many people have come to me this week and said, you know, so-and-so never called me. They said, you know, Brent Gove never called me. That's where you went. Brent Gove never called me, but he knows me. And then he said, but Brent said, I thought he'd never move, or she'd never move. So guys, if we want to change the industry and help people, we need to share our story with them in a very good way and not salesy. You know, just be real with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's the buzz on the street right now? You're out there talking to people.
Oh, I'm telling you, I'm talking to. I have no idea. I mean, there are so many people in here that I've ran into that. Here's my big thing. 4 years ago, you guys know, you've heard my story. I came to Susan. I said, I think I found Netflix, and we own Blockbusters, right? And she goes, oh, but she wasn't in. She really wasn't in 4 years ago. There were 400 agents. I never, ever thought, and I know Glenn and Jason and I thought it would work. We knew it would work, just tell you that. But I had no idea I'd be talking to some of the top agents in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, in other words, that to me is the big aha. Is that the top agents are joining first, and then everybody else is going to come.
Yeah. So
it's on the beginning, by the way, when we started.
Talk about that with the top agents.
What?
You're out there talking to the agents.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things that you said to me, Gina is the one who dragged me over here as well. And one of the things that you would always tell me was, Dave, you wouldn't believe the quality of agents.
Yes.
We were both recruiters for over a decade. And he said the quality of agents that are coming over. And you're seeing what with that now?
Well, it's funny, when we first started, and I could give a shout out to a lot of the people that came early. Thank you for that first year. Thank you. That was a tough year. But when I would talk to people, and they'd go, well, what's eXp stand for? That was the first year, by the way. What's it stand for? Now I don't get that anymore, right? Now I get, is it too late? Guys, we are just beginning, yes. We are just beginning. It's just starting. So what's exciting to me is the fact that we get to affect agents' lives. It's just bottom line. If you love your fellow agents at other companies, which I do, I am sorry. I love every single real estate agent. I love every single real estate brokerage. Because quite honestly, we're helping clients find shelter. And if you understand that, I love co-oping with other agents. You guys ought to do it too. You know, by the way, if you do it, just be yourself. Hank, be yourself. I knew that was Hank because I can see his beard. I know David Gagnon's out there, but there's a lot of David Gagnons. Who's the bald guys? No. There you go. But I'm just telling you, as a company, there's a certain point in time you know you're at a special place. Yeah, have you guys ever been there before? Seriously, where you knew, oh my gosh, this will never be repeated again. Right? Who's that guy that was number 6 for the Boston Celtics? Bill Russell. You guys remember Bill Russell? He won 9 championships in a row. Walsh, you ought to know him. So Bill Russell, in his book, said, at a certain point when he was playing basketball, he said, don't ask me why, but it was a special place. He said, there were only a few games I played where I knew where the pass was going to go before it went. Don't ask me why. On both teams, we both knew we were in a special place. It was just that special moment. That's eXp. Thank you for helping me do that.
So, take us back. You have made a comment in the past, and every year it's true because we keep growing. And you talked about the size of the original group. This size right here, what's true?
Here's what I would do. I said this 4 years ago. If you were in the room, there were only 37 of you. But I did this 4 years ago, and I've done it at every single event that I've gone to at this event. Is I said, I really do want you to turn to your left, turn to your right, and see who you're sitting next to. Remember them. Shake hands with them. Hug them like Jason Gessen. Right? Jason's our heart and soul. So here's what I want you to think of. And I said this 4 years ago. Get ready, because it's never, ever going to be this small again. Okay? So get ready for growth. Thank you.
We look forward to the
How
next
awesome
year.
is Dave?
Thank you, guys.
Good job. Thank you guys. That was great. I'd like one of those trophies. All right. Here we go. And again, find Stacy and Dave tonight at the party. They won't be the tallest people there, but they'll be the most interesting. Find Gene. Oh, good job. So let me talk a little bit for a second about what's going to happen tomorrow. For those of you with us tomorrow, in the morning, you're going to have two choices. I'm all about choice. I like choice. You will be able to hear from international sales legend Tom Hopkins. He will be right in this room on this stage. Super cool. There will be a variety of agent panels. There will be a variety of Tom speaking throughout. That's one option. Your other option is going to be tied to our next guest. And I've had the pleasure of working with this group for a while. When I first heard about the Ready, I thought, I think I have all their albums from the 80s up in my basement somewhere. Turns out that's something else. The Ready is this amazing company that helps a variety of organizations with development in a way I can barely explain. It's phenomenal. And at most companies, you'd hire this group and they'd make this all better, and you guys wouldn't get to experience it yourself. But you have an opportunity tomorrow. You can go see Tom, which many of you will do, and that'll be great. Or you can go learn from the Ready, just like companies that spend zillions of dollars to do so. It's for you guys tomorrow that are part of this event. And we thought you might like a little preview to understand what the Ready is all about. So I'm happy to introduce Rodney Evans.
Hey everybody. Hi. Thank you for having me and for the opportunity to see myself on a screen larger than any I ever have experienced in my life. Good times. So I'm Rodney, I'm from the Ready, and because human beings learn by doing, and that's one of the things that we teach, we are going to start with a practice. It is called a check-in round, and this may be the world's largest check-in round. I don't know if this is a Guinness Book thing, but we're going to give it a go. So I would like you to stand if you are able, or raise your hand if you are not. When I give you, hold on, you guys are eager. I love it. Hold on. When I give you a couple of prompts. So, please stand up if you have in the last year experienced more transparency in your industry. More transparency. Okay. Stay standing if you have experienced free technology that may be disruptive or may be really cool, but just new technology in general. Yeah. What about changing expectations from your customers? Stand up if you're seeing changes in what your customers need from you, want from you, expect from you, and know about your business. Okay, and finally, stand up if you are finding that in a day, there is more information than you can possibly process. To those of you who remain seated, like bless your hearts, I don't know what world you live in, but good for you. For the rest of us, this is complexity. There is so much going on so quickly, it is virtually impossible. Stay standing. We're going to talk about a couple of strategies for dealing with complexity. So I'd like you to remain standing if you have run an experiment on your business in the last year. If not, sit down. Run an experiment. Try something new. Okay. What about taking time, really taking some time out of your day-to-day to reflect on what's working and what's not about your business? Stay standing if you've done that. If you have not, sit down. Okay, cool. What about use a new technology? Figure it out on your own. A new kind of technology or process to adopt to make your business go better. Stay standing if you've done that. Sit down if you haven't. And finally, taking some time to do some personal work. So taking time to develop yourself, learn a new skill set, maybe learn something adjacent to what you know now to make your business better. Stay standing if you've done that. Sit down if you haven't. Okay, look around. These are the survivors in complexity. These are the kinds of things we're teaching. Everybody sit. Thank you. Give yourself a hand. We did it. Big check right up. I love it. Yeah, complexity is a tricky thing, and it's what we talk about a lot at the Ready. You'll hear more about this tomorrow from Aaron if you come and hang out with us. The Ready is a work design and transformation consultancy. And when I say that at cocktail parties, 50% of the time people say, does that mean you'll help me organize my closet? And I say, sure. But actually what we do is things like the strategies we just talked about in that check-in round. So we work with clients to understand how to future-proof their businesses, how to think about meeting differently, making decisions differently, organizing and structuring around work, being in a situation where you can adapt to things that are changing too quickly to plan for. How we get slack in a system, how we have enough resilience that we're able to survive even as we're being disrupted every day. There's a book that our founder, Aaron Dignan, wrote. Some of you I know have read it because a lot of you came to our brief new workshops. I think eXp was our biggest attendance, which is super cool. He will be here tomorrow, and Aaron is really like the biggest brain I know working on the future of work and on this kind of work design. The book is full of really interesting practices and things that you can try out immediately, so check it out if you haven't. What's going to happen tomorrow is Aaron's going to give a brief talk about the book and about some things contained therein, but customized based on the work that Allie, my colleague, and I have been doing at eXp. And then we're going to do a couple of hours of work together. So we're going to work on your business challenges. We're going to run through some practices and exercises that you can use to build your own business and to future-proof your own work and to modernize your own work practice. A lot of times when I start to talk about what I do, when I talk about systems thinking and complexity theory, and people are like, shut up, you nerd. And they ask me, you know, how can you boil it down? And if I can boil down the future of work to one really simple thing, it's that we've got to get out of the content. We've got to stop being so focused on what we're doing and start focusing on how we're doing it. And we just don't spend a lot of time doing that. And I go into a lot of companies, I've been doing this for a long time, and I go into a lot of companies and they say, like, that's soft skills. That's like the side of desk stuff. That's like squishy. And when we get to it, we'll do a project on that. And the reality is, we work in complexity and we work in a knowledge environment. So we can't just not ever think about how we're making decisions, how we're sharing information, how we're coming together to meet, etc. And so the kind of shift that we're helping make at eXp is not to come and say, here's what we think your strategy should be. It's to say, when do you talk about strategy? Where do you talk about it? How often do you iterate it? How do you use that? How do you do that using data to steer your decisions? How are those decisions made? Who's included in those decisions? So that we have processes and habits that are ingrained in our system, and we're not having to rethink the what again and again and again because we have a process to rely on for the how. We have to change how we change. So a long time ago, I was in the traditional consulting business, and we did change management because apparently you can manage change. You can't, spoiler alert. And so we have to think about this differently because working in complexity means you cannot go into a dark room and figure out the answer to the problem on your own or even with a group of really smart people. You can't think your way out of challenges that don't have a specific answer and in systems that have too many connection points to actually fully understand. And so how does that show up for you all? Well, maybe that shows up like you can't exactly predict which sales tactic is going to work better than another one. Or you can't exactly predict which app is going to perform better. And so what we do and what we teach is how do we run smart experiments? How do we look at your business or look at your team or look at your customer and say, what are some of the tensions we're feeling? What are the things we're complaining about to our spouses at night? What are the things that are holding us back from doing the best work of our lives? And then we get real creative and say, cool, what can we do about that? What's in our influence? What's in our sphere of control? What are some things we might try? And then the real fun part is we design an experiment, and the cool thing about experiments is that they can fail. You cannot have innovation without failure. And so what we do in complex systems is help you guys learn what it means to do experimentation and how you can do that really at any scale and how it enables speed and agility in a system. Tomorrow, we're going to work with these principles, and these are not in the book. We actually have cooked these up based on our work with eXp so far, and on some patterns and trends that we've noticed. So we're going to use these principles in designing experiments that you might take on and try on in your own businesses to address whatever challenge you think is present. We're not going to give you that challenge. The leader's not going to give you that challenge. It's up to you to identify what the tensions are that you're feeling. So join us if you want to. We're going to limit participation to about 150 people because we want it to be small and experiential, and we want to be able to hang out with you and really have interactions and coaching and be able to get a lot of value out of really doing work together. And join us if you're one of these folks. If you're someone who wants to learn more about the future of work and what the trends are that are shaping the modern working environment. If you want to try on some practices that you could take back immediately, and if you really want to leave with an insight, something that maybe you haven't noticed before, or maybe you haven't taken the time to really assess and parse and look at from multiple angles, we want to give you that time and space to harness an insight and then figure out what you might want to try. So we're hoping to see a bunch of you there. It's going to be a great day. As I said, Allie, Aaron, and I are going to facilitate that together, and it's going to be a few hours. For those of you who came to the Brave New Workshop, it will be completely different content that we've made for tomorrow, and it will be something that's applicable to brokers and agents and board members and staff and whomever. Join us if you will, and we will look forward to spending that time with you. Thanks a lot.
So, we have a number of agents in the audience. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Teams are a big thing in real estate now. We have agents that are growing teams in their own market, and agents are trying to figure out, how do I add more people to my team? And while I started out as kind of an independent person, and now life has changed for me. They're almost like employees, or I've hired an assistant to do things. I'm guessing those are the kind of people who can really benefit from what you're going to talk about.
Absolutely. I mean, we spent tomorrow, we're going to spend tomorrow working through practices that you could do as an individual, but also as someone who leads a system of 1,000. So what we want is to teach practices that are fit for the environment versus fit for one particular person.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, if you have a team, fantastic. Let's work on your team challenges. If you're one person, fantastic. Let's work on your business challenge. If you've got, 5,000 people reporting into you, great. Let's talk about scale.
Right, and I want to thank you for bringing Aaron. So many of us have read his best-selling book, and to have him here with you tomorrow is going to be outstanding. You're in the Pensacola ballroom area, which is where eXcamp was yesterday, today, for those of you that did eXcamp. And again, you guys have a choice of Tom Hopkins, or Aaron and Rodney and Allie, and then at the end, they're all going to come together and do a song. They will not. Work on that. All right, thanks, Rodney. We'll see you tomorrow. Appreciate it. All right, and I need my slide thingy if anybody has it there. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you. Okay, next. Now, this presentation is called The Other Side of Virbela. As I said earlier, many of you are in the world every day. And I see all the things that you guys say. Some of you are like, I use it because it helps me engage with each other. I use it because I can get help to run my business. And then others of you are like, please let me fly. Right? I hear it all. Or can I, the soccer field. I don't like my uniform color. But we're going to get a little deeper with Virbela today. We'll talk a little bit about Virbela as it applies to eXp Realty. But remember, Virbela is part of Roll Holdings. And if you're a stockholder in the company, which many, many of you are, you should be really interested in the other side of Virbela as well. So join me in welcoming the founder and president of Virbela, Alex Holland. Great to see you. Have a seat. Have a seat. How's that feel? Nice, feels good. All right. I'd like to apologize for how I look in person compared to my avatar. Here's a little taller. Good. There's been a lot of changes. Let's start again with eXp Realty first. There's been a lot of changes just in the world of eXp Realty. Tell us a little bit about some that have maybe improved what's going on for agents that if they're not in the world that often, maybe they haven't seen yet.
Sure. Yeah, so over the past handful of months, whatnot, we've added ticket system, so you don't have to wait in line or get cut in line. You have a place to take that ticket, and we're also working on a mobile option for that, so you can get in line via the mobile app. Other things, put any power girls in the house. So we added some space for teams like the Power Girls, so NAR, and other rooms. Supporting Bluetooth now with mobile. I know that was a big request.
Let me pause there for those that are like, oh, Bluetooth mobile. Explain how practically some of our agents, why does that matter? How do you use it?
I think agents are on the road a lot.
Yeah.
So holding your phone up to your ears.
So when you're using the mobile app,
yeah,
you want the ability to obviously use Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, good. That's a good one. Also fun things, right?
I love that fun is a value, right, with eXp. And it's fun not just for fun's sake, but it builds community, it helps with culture, and it also helps spark innovation because it breaks down some of the barriers and the insecurities about bringing up unique ideas. When we can come into a place of play, a place of fun, it breaks down those barriers where we're more likely to share those innovative ideas to spark some innovation.
Right. I want to ask you, this is something I've heard you talk about before. Every once in a while, one of us will say, I want my avatar's face to look exactly like me. I want to see my mouth move. And you have a great way of telling us why we should never want that to happen.
It's creepy.
It's creepy. That's a PhD right there. Creepy.
There is a research around this. It's called the uncanny valley, where if you try to get really realistic, but are off even just by a fraction of a hair, it really creeps you out. We also had, I just want a 2D picture over my avatar's face. No, you'll hate it. Trust me, we tried it. You won't like it.
Okay, good. I won't ask again, I promise. I think when you started Verbella, I'm curious if you ever conceived there would be, potentially 18,000, 19,000 agents that could be in this world.
That's crazy.
Like, what have you learned by having, people from 50 states, 3 provinces, and soon way more than that? Have you learned things as you've built this out?
Absolutely. What's cool about starting a company is you have assumptions on how things are going to go.
Right.
And when Glenn Sanford came to me and said, hey, we're interested in real estate. And, by the way, we want exclusivity for real estate. I was like, what the heck is going to come to us from real estate? Sure. Exclusivity, we can have it.
Well done, Glenn.
That's a scientist, not a businessman.
There was about 900 agents back then. See that we're at 19,000. We learned so much from eXp Realty. First off, we have people who go to work 40 hours a week in our product, which is crazy. We get to log in and talk to them and get feedback. We get new agents all the time who give us the new experience of a brand new user. So we are learning a ton, both on the technology side, what needs to happen there, but also on the network side, and the culture side, and the more squishy stuff that's really important. It's so fascinating to watch the growth in the community over time with eXp. To think, as Gene was just saying, that we're just getting started.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to talk pretty soon here about non-eXp, but I want to ask you just a little bit more. You get requests all the time. Our staff has requests, our agents have requests. I've seen you in workplace before, as well as the World Game requests. What's up next? What should we look forward to? Will I be able to fly? Will it be a completely bald head? Which please don't do that anytime soon. What's next?
Yes, so we get lots of requests, and some of them are the more silly, fun things, which are important. I want different design in my avatar shoes and that sort of thing. But really, what it comes down to, I think, is personalization of the experience. So when you think you log into Netflix, right? You have a custom, personalized experience for yourself. So I'm really curious in the future, how do we build up that personalization experience when you log in? Your recommended classes, You recommend groups that you might be interested in joining, or mastermind groups.
Right.
I think we can take some of those notes. I think it'd be really interesting. Gamification is a huge opportunity. I mean, we build on top of a gaming platform. We have some elements, but I think there are a whole lot more opportunities. Not fun just for fun's sake, but fun for productivity. Gamification is used as a way to tap into social networks and cultivate collaboration. They're used to encourage performance and push folks to sell yet another house. So if we can be creative in a way that's helps the business, helps the agent, I think there's a ton of opportunity.
Well, I'll give you one example that running marketing that we use a lot that I'm not even sure agents are always aware of. We put a lot of graphics and signage now in the world, and many of those signs, we actually have something that says click here. So you can have an experience in the world, and then, for instance, we're going to announce eXpCon, for instance, and we'll have a graphic in there that will say, click here and take you right to registration and take you away. Yeah, great stuff.
Just like that. And just usability. We'll keep working. We've heard from a few today, the experience of putting up things on the walls and navigating will continue to make the user experience better and better. Happy to say, since coming over to eXp, our development team has already doubled in size, and we're still recruiting, so we're going to be able to move that much faster and keep getting
So, if you don't have an answer for this, just make one up, okay?
Sure.
I'm curious, I bet these people are too. Is there some feature you put in the world for us? You were like, no one's ever going to use that, like dancing. And you're like, holy cow, they do that all the time. Like, if anything fucking game, you're like, well, that's just a throwaway.
Yeah, the climb feature is used all the time, right? People try to climb through anything and everything, right? So I don't know where they're trying to climb to.
Fox popular?
They're climbing.
I sometimes will be in a closed office trying to hide from my team in the virtual world, and they will climb through and find me.
Staff members hiding in roofs sometimes.
Yes. So thank you for climbing. We appreciate that. We know agents would also like the opportunity for kind of private space. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the beauty of eXp World is it can support the event like this, and we just had a record number of nearly 1,000 people in the world at one time, over 700 people in an auditorium like this, and we'll keep making them bigger, but also the importance for one-on-one small group collaboration. So we've been working on this concept of team rooms for a while, and we're testing it, we'll probably talk about it soon, in our open campus, which I'll also explain soon. But the idea is that we'll soon be able to offer this team room concept for teams of agents within eXp World.
Okay, are you guys excited about that? That's going to be a big thing. So, speaking of team rooms for agents, the big thing I know you've been talking about the last few weeks, you had a PAC group this morning that you were talking about the open campus and team rooms that go beyond eXp. This is big news for some people who haven't heard that before.
Yeah.
So explain what's next with Rebella. Now we're getting into the other side of Rebella.
Right. Yeah, what's really cool about coming over and being part of the eXp family is we do still sit as a subsidiary under eXpI. So we get to operate with some existing customers. So some of those include some names like Stanford University, Graduate School of Business, and doing exec ed all over the world through the platform, the DoD, some big retailers, and some others. But we also have this product called Open Campus, which is an environment kind of similar to eXp World, but it's open to the entire world. Anyone, any industry can come in and be in the open campus, and it has classrooms and auditoriums and meeting rooms, all that good stuff. And within Open Campus, we've just launched the concept of team rooms, where for $200 a month, a team of up to 20 people at a time can lease a room a month for $200 a month. So why not brick and mortar? Why do people still have brick and mortar?
Right. So all those people that are doing the WeWorks and all this, I mean, this is just waiting for them, right?
It's a lot cheaper.
You are the future of work, right?
Yeah.
That's what the shirt says.
We were just listening to Rodney and love the work they're doing and thinking about the future of work. I wouldn't have come over. I would not have sold to eXp if, you know, Glenn and leadership were so committed to being leaders in the future of work, not just within real estate, but across all industries. It's incredible what you're doing as a company.
And the amazing thing about our overall company, it would be very easy for you to say, hey, I got this other thing we're doing, and eXp, you just keep doing your thing, real estate, you just keep doing your thing. But you found a way to kind of meld the two together so agents can be part of the other side of it all.
I heard eXp Realty has some good salespeople.
Yeah, I think a couple out there.
I heard some, yeah. So yeah, we're just launching this sales affiliate program with Team Rooms in Open Campus, where as of basically this month, you're all welcome to join to be a sales affiliate for Virbela. And if you sell a team room in the Open Campus, you get $50 a month for as long as that team is subscribed. So start selling a few of these team rooms, and your passive income will continue to grow.
And you'll help them get set up on the materials they need and what to say and all that.
We have a sales affiliate group in Workplace. If you're not already connected, I suggest you join the group and express your interest. And we're doing training and onboarding and walking people through the process, setting up the payment system. So when you sell, you get paid immediately. It's pretty cool.
And what kind of companies or businesses are a good fit for this? We're kind of used to, well, of course, real estate, that's what we do, but I'm sure you've got some other examples.
Yeah, so, you know, who would be a WeWork customer? You know, startups,
right?
Small businesses, law firms, accountants, good examples of folks who could probably take advantage of a team room. Also, groups maybe trying to get into new markets. It's expensive to get new real estate in new markets, so this allows them to get new places. We've really been leveraging is it's tough to find technical talent. So we're kind of based in San Diego, but we've started hiring talent in Austin, in New Jersey, in Connecticut, because we have to find the talent. And luckily we have the place to bring them.
There you go.
To work.
Right.
Yep. And universities. So education is certainly a big component that we can leverage team rooms.
Can you explain this real briefly with Stanford, big name? How does Stanford use Virbela?
Sure. Stanford runs exec ed programs in a lead program, so it's adult education. And I think they have about 4 cohorts of about 200 that go through a year-long exec ed program. And they're logging in from about 80 different countries into Virbela to attend class. So, you know, here eXp might be starting to expand overseas.
We'll talk about that.
We'll be ready from the technology side.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. That's going to be great. Okay, we're going to try to do something kind of fun here. We're going to try to go live to somebody outside the real estate industry that is a customer of Virbela's. See what's going on. So come on over.
Yeah. So we're going to talk to Jeff and Brian from Davenport University, who are current team room clients. So they're live here in the world with us. Hey Jeff, hey Brian.
Hey, how's it going, Alex?
Not bad, yourselves? No pressure, but I have about 15,000 people here with me.
That's all, huh?
Maybe it's 1,500, but you know. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good.
We were just talking to the audience about the opportunity with team rooms and their opportunity to sell them. But we thought it would be helpful for them to hear from a customer. So curious, what got you excited about the Open Campus and team rooms for Davenport University, and maybe how are you using it?
I think the biggest thing that drew me to Virbela and using the Open Campus and team rooms was the ability to innovate. More importantly, the ability to really change the landscape of the way that we deliver higher education, the way that we can engage learners in teaching and learning. It allowed us to move us into a space where we were able to share space and we were able to create community and really build relations in community with the university, but more importantly, student to students, so the peers got to know each other like what we would in the face-to-face environment, as well as more importantly, faculty to students. In that way, you start kind of creating some of that mentoring aspects that could take place. So that's what drew me originally to Virbela. And then when we started looking at team rooms, my team's remote, so it gave us a space where we were able to come together, we were able to work remotely together. And a lot of the faculty and students that we work with are obviously across the United States and internationally. And team rooms allow us the opportunity to be able to have a shared space of being able to come together to work on projects, to work on courses. And more importantly, it also gave us a special room where we can start holding some classes and we can bring students in to work on group work in private. We were able to start having faculty and students do presentations, which otherwise would either be done via video or just plain PowerPoint slide deck. So it increased our level of interactions, not only peer-to-peer, but faculty to student.
Brilliant. And what has been the response from maybe both faculty and student?
Well, it's interesting, you know, the initial thing that drew us to this was about innovation and new ways of doing things. And one of the things that I don't think we expected, but that's turned out to be a major strength, is just the fun factor. You might experience this at a conference. Fun has some value. And this is a much more enjoyable way, at least according to our students and faculty, to interact with each other and engage. So we're seeing both from students and faculty that there's some excitement here. This is a much more fun way to do it. If you think about some of the things that Jeff mentioned, group projects, coming together to work on either course development or bringing a class together to work on things, we've been able to introduce activities that are unique to the physical classroom for most other universities, for most of the classes that we've offered over time. And we're trying to mimic some of those activities here in this virtual space, where really for most of our distance learners over the years, that's not been an option. So there's a variety of things that we can do in here. We were just having a meeting yesterday, in fact, where we were playing kind of a Jeopardy game in the classroom. That's not something you can do in video conferencing easily, and it's certainly not something where people kind of feel that they're in a space where something might be going on like that. So it's been a lot more fun than a traditional video conference, and I also think it lets us think of the virtual world in a lot of the same ways that we think of the physical world, which is certainly not something that video conferencing can provide for you.
Yeah, I always find it fascinating that even though we're looking at avatars, somehow psychologically we feel more like we're in the room together than we do over video conference. You can obviously see the other people's face, but you don't have that feeling of presence with the folks. So it's really interesting to hear when we talk to users. Awesome. Well, hey guys, I think we're about out of time, but I really appreciate you taking the time to join us in sharing some of the value you're getting from team rooms with our audience here.
Great, thank you, Alex. That was awesome, and you'll be around tonight.
Absolutely.
And we'll find, so if you are ready to start making your $50 a month, find Alex, so let's give you more details about it. Or for things that you think we need to be more successful with eXp Realty. Now you have two different things to talk about. Alex, Gabe, and the rest of the team. So thanks so much.
Thanks, Mitch. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, next up, does anybody have a phone with them? Usually we say, first of all, do you know, I'm one of the few people when we have an event that never says silent your phone. You're real estate agents. And if any of you during this meeting, you're
look at as a totally remote organization that's highly connected, it's a different, as they would call it, operating system than a traditional company. In fact, the traditional company, the hierarchy type organizational model was developed primarily around factory work. And I think it was 1924 was the point in time where the 40-hour work week kicked in, and the whole management and infrastructure was all built, generally speaking, sort of at the beginning of the 1900s. And so as we've been kind of looking at all the new ways of being able to scan the organizations for innovations, to be able to emerge the best leaders and the best ideas, that's different than what you would see in organizations that are built primarily on organizational charts. Organizational charts have a lot of politics involved in how they're organized, and in a modern organization, it's really more about how can we emerge the best leaders and the best talent, and of course, how do we then make all that happen? So I just wanted to touch on that because when you really get into the nuances of what we're doing, we're not operating normal. Somebody mentioned, something about keeping eXp weird. that it does truly change the economics of running a business. When you don't have to put in tens of millions of dollars of physical real estate to be able to build an organization that at this scale, which is what it would take. It would take tens of millions of dollars of physical real estate. When you don't have to do that, it allows you to be able to grow in ways without the friction, the financial friction. And that's why we've been able to really be a very scrappy organization from day one in 2009 when we had no money, be able to actually scrape together great ideas, execute against that, and ultimately build this amazing organization. So, and because of the cloud campus, where you work matters. There's actually a sense of place. So even though there isn't the corner office in the high rise that you had to drive 60 minutes to get to, and then 90 minutes back because of rush hour, because you had to leave to get to a soccer game or what have you, we have a sense of place where you can actually know where things take place, and that's a truly powerful paradigm for the future of work. So one of the other things, obviously, and you can see it from the stage, it takes a while to assemble an amazing team that can work in this new way of working. The fact that how many of you know or recognize, of course, if you're with eXp, you probably know this as agents, but Dave's in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Stacy's in a remote part of the Phoenix metro area. And yet they look like they're together every day. They're that connected, they're that engaged. And you can't do that in any traditional mode of operating outside of working in a physical office. But we've been able to do that with the way that we create collusions, community, collaboration, and it really truly is an enabling technology. Peter Diamantis had me at one of his events here earlier this year, and one of the things I talked about was that when we think about ourselves as a public company, and it's really probably way more than this, but if you think about just the market value that working in this remote way has provided, it's got to be worth at least just to us as an organization, $100 million or more of enterprise value is created just from working in this really unique remote way that, again, very few companies have adopted and don't really understand what the paradigm is. So we're really super excited about Virbela, really excited about the team that we have with Virbela powering the future of work now. One of the other things, so we talked a little bit about core values, and we spent a fair bit of time a couple of years ago really working hard on getting our core values defined. What was interesting is that we really just emerged the core values that we already were. We weren't trying to create new core values because this is where we're going. We're really agility, fun. You look at those core values. This is eXp. This is not just eXp. This is how all of the organization works. When Virbela ended up merged in with us, they were already there. So these were not. We didn't invent core values that didn't resonate with Virbela. They already operated very much in a very similar way that we already operate. We had a chance to work together for quite some time. So core values is another really powerful paradigm. I want to talk a little bit about the next 6 months. And the next 6 months, we heard a little bit about Team Rooms. Team Rooms is going to be a powerful platform. We think that it has a lot of legs. We think that there's some ways to market it, to actually add a little bit more of a direct sales type engine to it, so more than just the retail component. But we think that it's the type of product that can be marketed at a much higher level, a much larger scale. So we're excited about that. Neighborly, some of you will get a chance to run into Jeff LaCroix and Usong Kim. They've been building out a national portal platform that for us will really compete head-to-head with the major national portals that are out there. So if you want to check it out, you can go to neighborly.com and check it out. But they also have been working on the front ends of the UK site and the Australia site. So we now have an internal team that can build up a truly national, powerful real estate portal that can really take us in places that we haven't been before. So I know many of you haven't heard about Neighborly, but we've been working really closely with them, got a strategic partnership with them, get a chance to look at some of the stuff that they're doing. It's pretty awesome. Obviously, we heard a lot about international growth. And that's going to continue to happen. There's going to be more and more opportunities. There's discussions going on, even here this week, with folks that are going to take us different places around the world, beyond just the UK and Australia. So super excited about that. I've got eXp bird on here. And this, if you're with eXp Realty on Workplace, you can actually search for the eXp expert, basically our eXp expert. And it will actually start to answer a lot of the common questions and start to point you in the right direction. So we're now starting to codify and automate a lot of the things that are going on in eXp. And so if you want to ask it about a little bit about the Shareholder Summit, there's information on the Shareholder Summit. You can actually ask it using natural language, and there's lots of things. We've got about 60-70% of the common questions that get answered asked at eXp that normally goes through a support channel. We now have a bot that we're rolling out officially in about a week or so, but you can find it right now inside of your Workplace chat app and start asking it questions. So you can even ask it about Donkey Kong. So we'll talk about that here in a bit. Show me now. Obviously, if you saw Sean Thomas out there, he's got a booth out there. Show me now is one of the first Uber-style showing apps for real estate, and this is. We just did a launch event yesterday for Orlando agents. We've done it now in Austin. We've done it in Nashville. But this is a really powerful tool for us as real estate professionals to go out there and actually provide instant showings on listings and provide new leads on the buyer side, and also start to actually do some of the due diligence on potential buyers through the app, through authentication and other things. Help people get pre-approved, pre-qualified, but we now have full-on developers that are actually hiring eXp agents to actually represent their developments just because of this one tool called Show Me Now, and so it's a really, really powerful platform. Office 22, guess what? That's where we do all the secret stuff. So it's actually so if you go into eXp main in Verbella, you'll actually, if you go to Office 22, there is actually an Office 22, 23, 24, 25. But we figured that if we're going to do labs, we should do it in kind of a covert location. So we just decided to go with Office 22. Probably have to change it now that I've told you where it's at. But we do have this. And so we've got Chad Curry, who ran labs for NAR. He's heading it up with Matthew Rod, and then another gentleman just joined us here in the last week or so. Seth Siegler is probably somewhere in the room. Haven't seen him since we've had so much going on today, but he has built some really amazing technology in the past, and he's actually been working on a platform for an iBuyer initiative that we've been working on in the background. So if you find Seth Siegler, Seth, are you in the room here somewhere? Somewhere, I'm sure. Back there. Okay, so if you see Seth, hopefully got a name tag. He doesn't get a name tag. Have him demo some of the things on the iBuyer side. But we're going to be able to plug in our own group of institutional buyers and investment buyers on the back end. We're going to be able to provide multiple iBuyer quotes for people who want to just do cash for keys. But with those, we're going to be able to generate lots and lots of listing leads for you to go out and actually go and list your property. So, super excited. There's a really cool financial model we've been building around it. Ted Labs, who's been really working on a lot of our partner programs. He's been working with a number of partners in the background to get some people plugged in on the back end. And if you bring in some folks that plug in the back end, there'll be an ongoing revenue stream for bringing those partners on the back end of the platform as well. So it'll be a lot of really cool stuff coming out of that. The other one, and we're just going to talk a little bit about net profitability. And how many agents that have been working on their 2x20 get the objection that eXp isn't making any money, is going downhill? Any hands there? Okay, so this is something that obviously we've continued to scale or grow when we put in our sustainable equity plan last year to take away some of the variability relative to what the stock price did to the shares we were issuing. So we're doing a dollar amount on that, so that helps in terms of understanding our fixed costs associated with it. But the other piece is we want to become a GAAP profitable company. And what GAAP stands for is Generally Accepted Accounting Principles. And that's basically how all companies eventually get ranked and looked at. In early stage companies, in high growth modes, a lot of times you get a lot of forgiveness for growing rapidly and spending a lot because you get to value some of those future earnings when you do become profitable as part of your financial model, so you get a lot of uptake there. But as you start to scale, and you get to scale, you want to become truly a profitable organization. And with some of the things that we've done, including working with some of the influencers in the organization, those of you who attended in December the influencer event, and then also in April we did another event with some of the top growth leaders in the organization. We really worked hard on coming up with what we refer to as a defensible position around rev share, so that it always is there. The company's always there, and we're super excited about that. And so we, in February 1st, we flipped the first switch on that, and on July 1st, we'll get it really dialed in. We're over the long haul, we're always paying out 50% of company dollar in the form of rev share, and that will establish long-term net profitability for the company. And so everybody can rest assured that Realty is not going anywhere. It's going to be here for the long haul. So super excited about getting past that, getting through that part of the next process. Preferred Partners talked a little bit about Ted Latz, and he's putting together the Preferred Partner Program. If you haven't been to the Intralend booth out there, definitely check out Intralend. Intralend is a very unique mortgage platform that each of you can, if you choose to, if you'd like to, be actual owners in your own mortgage company. And so this is a really cool platform. It will allow you to actually also work with your preferred lender with that, so you won't need to change lenders, and they'll actually still be able to actually work inside of this lending platform. So really excited about the potentials of the Intralend platform and how that can really turn into a revenue stream and a profit center for both you as an agent as well as eXp in putting together a program. And then the last one is where we've got also a preferred partner with America's Preferred Home Warranty, and we'll talk about more of that inside of eXp. But we've got some of these affiliated services and partner programs coming along that's going to enhance your business as agents, but also give us some additional revenues that take us to net profitability. And as Jeff talked about earlier today, we should be net profitable in 2019. So that's something to be really excited. Obviously I heard eXp, extend a hand, linkage. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff going on there. Jim Granville and our legal team has been working behind the scenes getting our 501c3 in place. So it's in process. It will be should be fully functional live by eXpCon. So that will be help for tax the tax status and deductibility for those that want to participate with extend a hand. The second part, how many of you remember News Story? So, eXpCon, which is only a few months away, we're talking July, August, September, October, 4 months away, we're gonna launch officially News Story 2.0 eXp partnership, and we're gonna be committing, and I'll backstop it if we don't hit it, but I don't think I'm going to have to, but we're gonna commit to building 100 homes through the News Story program for those who need homes. So this has been really exciting. There's a whole bunch of things that can actually help you as a real estate professional establish your own give back strategies. But they've done such an amazing program. We're going to have a community. We're going to have some community ambassadors visit the communities that we're going to build. And so really excited about what we're going to be doing with News Story. The next 6 years is going to be a lot more. It's going to be interesting. We've got so much stuff going on, and the thing that the elephant in the room right now is platform real estate companies versus franchises, and quite frankly, we've seen a lot of the franchises get beat up really badly, especially in the last 6 to 12 months. And I think the reason is the platforms, and the platforms are the obvious platforms. You've got the Zillows, the Open Doors, you got the Compasses, you got the eXps, and these are platform companies. These are companies, the Redfin would be another one. These are all platform companies that fundamentally change what it means to be in real estate and are able to operate across multiple markets without the red tape of the franchise system. So franchises are, generally speaking, in really a tough place. Generally speaking, there's 5 years on average left on most people's franchise agreements, depending on the franchise system that they're involved in. And there's usually bricks and mortar components, and we may be, in for a little bit of a downturn again, potentially in the next 6 to 12 months. And this puts pressure on local broker owners. And it's really tough for them to pivot. Now, I don't think anything negative about the individuals in these companies. I care about everybody, but the systems themselves are fundamentally flawed in terms of what's going on. And so it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out over the next 6 years, because I really think that fundamentally, if you look 6 years in the future, the franchise system will be a shell of its former self. I mean, I really think that it's really, the franchise system really is going to have some issues. And so I think it's going to be the emergence of platform-based companies. And so eXp, of course, has got a 10-year head start on a lot of companies trying it the way that we've done it. We think that that's really going to give us a lot of advantages. But I think the idea is that we're going to go to a place where real estate brokerages are not going to have a lot of bricks and mortar, if any. I think that we're fundamentally, real estate is a platform as a service for real estate professionals, and real estate professionals are going to plug into these platforms to ultimately power a different type of business over the next 6 years. So I think that's something that they just want to sort of just think about as you continue to work out there. Verbella, obviously the future of work, Ready Player One style organizational frameworks are going to be really interesting. We've proven that it does provide economic advantage. We're one of the first companies that operates in this totally remotely connected way. So we think that that's going to be a big deal. The other stuff is things like, obviously we can't turn on the internet or any of our devices or what have you without hearing about blockchain and how that's going to impact things. So blockchain is going to be a bigger deal. Reporting information on the blockchain. Blockchain is a currency. Blockchain is going to change a lot of things around the world. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that all plays out. We're in our Office 22. We're already starting to play with what can we do with blockchain. Could we keep track of things like commission plans and payments and transactions and those sort of things? We're just experimenting with it. But if some of that stuff plays out, it could also change the way that we think about how real estate is transacted. 3D printed homes, 3D printed anything is going to obviously continue to change things. There's homes now that are being printed for under $10,000 a home, where you can literally print out a home that's livable, less a little bit of wiring and other things. But 3D printing is going to be a big deal over the next 6 years. And obviously augmented reality and then driverless cars could be also something that impacts our lives as real estate professionals, especially when you can work and let your car drive you and your client to your next appointment. That would be kind of an interesting world to live in. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and bring Mitch back out here, and I think he's hopefully got maybe 1 or 2 questions typed in.
Glenn, we're going to be here a while. We have so far 178 questions, if that's okay. So the party, we just told them there's another event in town. So have a seat, and let's go through a few of them. First, I just want to ask you a couple more general questions. You go to a lot of big industry conferences and talk to a lot of important people, and I know this is a question you've been getting a lot lately. As we said earlier, This October will be our 10-year anniversary, 10-year birthday. Go back to 10 years ago. Go deep back. First of all, could you imagine there were going to be 1,700 people in front of you 10 years ago?
Well, I know Brian Colhane has the photo from the April event where there was me, Gabe, I'm not sure who else in the room was there, but there was a handful of folks, and that was our leadership team, maybe 5 people.
Right, like the company, right?
That was it. We
Yeah.
basically, and we actually had one of our agents at the time, Edie Kazaki, she said, when do we get our offices back? And I'm going, and that was the formative statement. I remember there was certain times when you make formative statements and you go, okay, that I can work with. But we have to figure out a way to build a real estate brokerage that's not dependent on bricks and mortar. That was the date that we made that sort of put that stake in the sand, and that's what we sort of said. If we can do that, we've got something.
And back then, you were helping each other plug in computer. I mean, like you were figuring it all out. But again, I want to ask you: when you were meeting with those folks in those first few months, were you like, oh yeah, 19,000 agents, easy? Like, were you thinking about it in those terms?
No, but what we did think about, which I think is an important thing to think about for anybody's business, is to think about the potential. Like, could this, if it catches on, be something? And that was the thing that he just said. You know, we needed a name. Of course, everybody asks us all the time, where did eXp Realty come from? And so that maybe that question's on our list, so we can knock that one off. But the name came from the fact that we needed something that we could use in all 50 states that nobody had already registered,
right? And
it's not easy to find a good name. And then the other piece that dawned on me at that point in time was that, like I was thinking about Amazon, which is like, what does that have to do with anything with Jeff Bezos created that kind of, right? Like, I'm going, well, so we just pick a random word, as long as it's not trademarked for real estate, we can get it. And then as we were going through it, eXp sort of showed up, and it's like, oh yeah, expert, explore, exposure, expansion. There were just a lot of really great eXp words, so that then became the prefix of real estate.
And today you can now buy flip-flop sandals right outside the store without
speaking
of what do you got there? eXp songs.
I think, yeah. I needed to do some shopping this morning for some socks, and so it turned out that we actually had a store. It's right here.
And I think we charged. Did you just say you run the thing? Did you pay?
Well, actually, technically gave it to me, but
okay.
It comes off your P&L.
Yeah, cut that around. We'll be okay. I want to take questions in a second from Slido, but I have one more question for you. It feels today like it's easy to get overwhelmed. Some of the things that you were actually just talking about a second ago, but we've got new technology every day, iBuyer, the DOJ looking at the real estate industry. I mean, I can tell you in my world, and I know our agents and other guests in the audience, you could spend 8 hours a day just reading through all that, trying to understand it. How should we think about all of it? Does it matter?
It probably does, but on a time scale that won't affect agents at a significant level. So when you think about the changes, the systemic changes, if I look at 2002 and now it's 2019, the business has changed a lot, but you naturally adapt to the changes that go on. And of course, when you think about some of the stuff, I think probably, when you think about the class action lawsuits and the DOJ stuff, that they could make changes, but how long will they take place? What will be the change cycle? I think the idea is that if we're agile individuals and human beings and we recognize that change is constant, then we just adapt to whatever comes our way.
Yeah, okay, good. We're up to almost 200 questions, so everybody get comfortable, bring in the coffee.
I did hear like Warren Buffett does these things. I heard that he stays till all the questions are answered.
Oh man, I'm tired. It's up to you guys. First question here. There's a number of questions about international. Let me kind of focus on those first. You know, the general theme here seems to be: are we going to Mexico? Are we going to Puerto Rico? What other countries are we going to? Maybe go back to Jason's presentation. How do we generally think about other countries?
Well, so what we found, even expanding eXp in the U.S. and Canada, is that if you've got the right leader, you'll be successful in a market. If you got the wrong leader, then chances are you're going to have to do a reset, potentially a reset after that. And those resets are painful in that sometimes that sort of hurts the market for the next leader coming in. So we're really looking more for the right leaders first. And if we've got the right leaders, then our chances of success go up dramatically. So we are choosing markets. We do have some sort of spreadsheets, comparison, and those types of things. But we're more interested in great leaders, and we know we have great leaders. Great leaders can make a okay market a good market. A bad leader could make a great market a crappy market. So leadership first.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So you're not telling us we should learn another language at this moment?
Oh, I wouldn't shy away from learning a little Spanish if you don't know Spanish.
Number of questions here about iBuyer in general. Is it a big deal? What do we think? Is it a niche thing? Is it a bigger thing? How are we involved?
Yeah, so the iBuyer thing is just another one of those backdrop changes. You know? So, when the reason why the real estate office was one of the reasons why it was important when I got into business in 2002 is that's where the high-speed internet was. So you go to the office and yet now, we all do business, we're still in business, and yet now we don't need to go to an office anymore. So the market's changed, and I think iBuyers are kind of similar in that it's going to happen over time. There's going to be a larger and larger segment of the market of the iBuyer. But when you talk to these folks that are truly iBuyers, they have very tight buy boxes. That's the phrase we hear quite a bit from these folks, is their buy boxes. They only want to buy property that they know they're going to make money on. And so it's got to be 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,600 square feet, 2-car garage for $200,000 to $350,000 in these neighborhoods. And so the iBuyer business is actually a lot more fragmented. And so when you get to anything that's not ubiquitous, iBuyers really can't play a big role there. So and we're not even sure what happens in a down market with an iBuyer. Like iBuyers, you can only have so much capacity to buy property, and they're looking for a certain return profile. And in a down market, I wonder what happens to these iBuyers.
Yeah. Okay. Really interesting. This will tell you something about the audience. This is one of our top questions, so get ready for this one. Do you think Dave and Stacy go together more like peanut butter and jelly or peas and carrots?
Jesus.
I'm not going to touch that.
Good answer.
Here's a great question. This is probably going to be your favorite question of the day, and I think the answer is just look around and you'll find somebody. But who do I get in touch with in Florida to join eXp?
I'm pretty sure you can throw a rock. Well, actually, yeah. Look for somebody with a Donkey Kong pin later.
Yeah, there we go. Tell us your thoughts about group health insurance for our agents.
So Ted Latz, I know Ted wasn't on stage here today, but Ted's been just an amazing add to the leadership team. And I know that we are working on something that hopefully, if it all works out, we'll be ready for. We're going to try to parallel this with our employees, but March, I believe, next year, we should have something that's available for agents at eXp. We'll do one or two more here.
How do you answer this question? Because I bet you get it a lot. What's your prediction for the stock price? Remember your live stream. I hope you don't go to jail.
Well, I used to be a stockbroker. My answer then as a stockbroker, to some extent, is the same one today, which is that my crystal ball broke 2 weeks ago, and I'm not planning to fix it.
Okay? Great. Can you bring some milk home when you get, oh, I'm sorry, that's a text from my wife. Lending, title, and escrow services, is that in our future?
Well, Intralink would be a company I would visit with they've got a really interesting way to approach mortgage, totally outside the norm, but yet I think it's going to be more empowering for real estate professionals than any other way to approach mortgage that's out there. So I would definitely check in with them. Title and escrow services are things that we're continuing to vet out. It's a complicated landscape to try to figure out what we're going to do, but there are ways to approach it. And of course, we're not just one market. We're 400 plus MLSs in all 50 states, so it's not a simple turnkey solution.
Okay. We'll take one more from here. Then we have a lot of other questions with just a few votes, and all you people, you know where to find the guy tonight. Okay. What do you feel is the biggest challenge in maintaining culture while growing at this unprecedented rate? Thank you, Chris. Great question.
Yeah, I think it's something that we all have to be conscious of. It's, the reality is that organizations, generally, there's a lot of data around the fact that, that organizations, as they get above 150, that there's a certain cultural breakpoint, and then there's a 600 number, and there's different numbers. Of course, we're way past that, and yet we've been able to stay uberly connected. And that's because I think a lot of those studies were pre some of the technology that we use. Workplace is a great way to create collisions and conversations and themes and interest groups. I mean, we've got eXp agents that game workplace groups. So if you're a gamer, building those connections and then building those other themes outside of just your real estate practice is really important for kind of just building that ongoing community and community building. So I think it's just something that we just have to just continue to work on. That's probably the one driver that has been with me literally since the late 80s, early 90s. So, and when I started to see the first, there was a company called First Virtual Bank, and how can organizations work as a remote but still have culture, and that's why I built an online service. And so this is actually something that, in my mind, is one of the most interesting challenges, and why this is a great, really big petri dish to continue to try to experiment with and continue to build that highly connected ecosystem.
Okay. Final question from my best friend Anonymous. What's the deal with Donkey Kong? You talk about Donkey Kong a lot. We have a lot of new people here. Explain the history of Donkey Kong and why it is meaningful.
Well, it's obviously really fun. We've really taken it on. Obviously, one of our competitors, which you probably all know in the room, decided to call our Verbella platform Donkey Kong. A number of us literally simultaneously all recognized that this was the best marketing that could ever be done. Because as many of you know, Donkey Kong was the most popular video game for years, and has been part of the Nintendo family. It's like a Marvel superhero, right, in the Nintendo ecosystem. And so it's literally, many of you don't know it, but you can actually go watch the video on the NASDAQ Facebook page. But when we did the big bell ring, right, and you were there, at the very end, I was just like this inspired moment. I just said, and like we like to say at eXp Realty, it's on like Donkey Kong. So this was went live.
I noticed you have Donkey Kong button on there. You just make that at home before you kick off.
Yeah, it's actually 9. I still have a 9 in Donkey Spirit from back in the Donkey Kong days, and so that's what I used to make it. No, but
We actually have, when we leave today, back button on the screens for everybody today. So, but Glenn, here's the deal. We're going to hand buttons out front when you all leave, but we invited a special friend to be here to give you a couple more buttons, and I think the person's here, so this is your life. So let's see what your best friend this fall. Did we surprise you? Yeah, we didn't tell you what was going to happen. So everybody, let me tell you what's going to happen now. The reception is just down the hall starting at 5:30. Donkey Kong is going to go down the steps here in a second. If you want to take a selfie with Donkey Kong, he'll be here. We have buttons when you leave. And Glenn, I think it's been a great day so far today. Awesome. All right, we'll see you all in just a few minutes at the party. Thank you, Donkey Kong.